Yo, welcome back to episode 29, Beardworks podcast. Another week talking about some of our favourite shit. Scads, what's going on?
Hey man, yeah, no, keen. We've been watching Wandavision like crazy, and that's pretty much been the focus of our podcast for the last few weeks now. But I guess you just talk about what's relevant, really, and stuff that we're enjoying. That's the whole point of our podcast. So, yeah.
Well, there's been nothing else new out. Like, what else have we been playing? We'll talk a little bit about Outriders, but that's not very much.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit lackluster at the moment. I guess, all the rage is around Wandavision. Like, when you talk about comic books and pop culture and stuff like that, it's all around Wandavision at the moment. Everyone's sort of losing their minds. So, yeah, anyways, you might as well kick us off.
Yeah, so the last couple episodes, because we've missed one we haven't talked about, Maria Rambo trying to kick off through that portal, gets blasted with all that energy. So she's got powers now. So what's going on?
Yeah, that was kind of cool because they made it seem like she was meeting up with someone that we're going to know, that we were going to be like, oh my gosh, it's Bruce Banner, or it could be anybody else, Reed Richards. But no, it's just the someone that's bringing in an armored, Mars rover, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Which doesn't go too well. Obviously, that sort of gets sucked in halfway. She jumps out, gets spat out as a half truck, half something else, and she knows that all of a sudden she knows that she can walk through it without even using that, but. And that's sort of they're saying, like, don't do it, because you're going to change. We spoke about in the previous episodes, her going through and back out again has changed her cells on a molecular level where she's not the same as what she was when she first went in. So the more times that she goes in and out, the more changes that her body will go through, and they're not sure what's going to happen. So that was a really cool, that little scene where she was pushing through through it, and you see like 4 or 5 different versions of her, like just splitting apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what her powers are going to be. It's going to be something similar to Captain Marvel, I think, like just some like energy manipulation or some like lasers or something like that. Because the way she was glowing and stuff looked a bit like that kind of power. Like Captain Marvel got blasted by that reactor. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's going to be cool though, because we obviously got to see a bit of it then, because Rambo's running through the bloody through the town looking for Wanda, and then Wanda says like, "How'd you get back in here?" Threatens her, and it's about to go down, and that was a really cool scene where, she shot her up in the air a bit, and then she just like powers it and hits the ground, and she's fine. And her eyes are like glowing blue. It's like, okay, this is pretty cool.
And then we get that whole like explanation about what's her name? Agatha Harkness. She's kicking off. But when Agatha Harkness confronts Wanda and Rambo, she just takes Wanda away. Can she like sense? Maybe Rambo's like stronger than we think. Because they didn't challenge her.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I have no idea, because, yeah, I'm trying to piece into my head now, thinking what happened. Obviously, she was looking after the boys, and then they went missing, and so she comes out and grabs Wanda, and then it's just like, "Come on, Wanda, we don't need to deal with this," and walks off. It is a bit strange. It was like
just leaves it. Just that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. And then obviously we get to see what actually is going on behind the scenes, which is a funny kind of villain kind of like take. How it's all Agatha.
Yeah,
Agnes. Sorry.
It's so weird because they set her up in that cliffhanger. Oh, she's the villain. It's been Agnes all along. But then the next episode, she's obviously a bit sketchy. But she's just talking to Wanda and showing her, like, trying to uncover how she got this power. It's not like she's super evil, like world domination. She just is curious, I think. And she's going about it the wrong way, but she's just curious.
Well, it shows that she's had like dipped her fingers in all these little situations and scenarios that have happened throughout the series so far.
And she's old, real old.
Yes, yeah, because it was back in Salem when she first kicked off with her powers.
Well, in the comics, they say that Agnes lived for the fall of Atlantis and Salem. So she's as old as that. She saw Atlantis fall into the ocean. So, we might see Namor in Marvel now, like Marvel's Aquaman.
Yeah, true. It's it's sort of, it's really hard because like they show like the Salem part with her and all the other witches, and she's being sort of like restrained and about to be, I don't know,
burnt at the stake.
Yeah, pretty much by other witches, and her mother's there as well, and they all start just hitting her with this kind of power, and I forget what color it is. It's blue.
They're blue, right. And she's purple.
And hers, then you just see the purple, like start to stream back out of her towards them, and just starts like eating away at their life force. It was so cool. shows you like, you can't beat me. My power is overpowering you. And she seemed like she was in pain, but the pain was like driving her powers out.
Yeah, so there must be a few different types of magic in Marvel. I haven't researched magic in Marvel much. So, like, obviously, Scarlet Witch is Chaos Magic Red. So I wonder what
Yeah.
blue and purple is.
Well, then you've got Doctor Strange,
Yeah, and he's just got a whole nother box of frogs. So
but like the Doctor Strange magic and all that kind of stuff is like
it's,
really visible. Like you can see
it's like
all the different
sparks and
contact
shit.
necks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
yeah.
it was really cool though. Like, it showed that it built up her story a bit, and yeah, she'd been playing and twiddling the little strings of a lot of things happening, but we still found out that it was still Wanda that started all this, but it wasn't from the Rage of Vision dying and her seeing his body, because Sword made it out to look like that she broke into their facility, and stole his body. But the case in that wasn't the case. The case was that they invited her there to say goodbye, and she goes, "No, I want to bury him." And he's like, "I'm sorry, this is like the most sophisticated AI ever. We want to recreate him.
Even just the raw materials, they said it's just if we scrapped him, it's
It's vibranium."
$3 billion of vibranium.
Yeah. So, and she's like, but obviously she doesn't see him as that android, or that she sees him as her lover and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
she obviously freaks out, smashes the glass, flies down there, and he's just like, let her go. And then she looks, and then she just leaves. And she gets in her car and just drives off. It's so not super, if you know what I mean.
yeah, you can see how ruined she is. Just and then she has that deed for the house. So Vision must have bought her a house or a block
Yeah,
of land.
that's so cool because, like, yes, it's like, that's where we can start our life together. And it's like, but as superheroes, can you actually ever have a normal life?
Nah.
Like it just doesn't work. Like it shows in Infinity War, they're sort of on the run a bit, and you can't escape it. Obviously they're pretty two of the most powerful, characters in the Marvel universe. Well, Vision is meant to be, and he gets annihilated in most of the fights he's in.
Yeah.
Um, but he's still a cool character. Like it shows now in these stories, like they have like a really good chemistry, and so like yeah, he bought a piece of land for her to build a house in, and that's where it starts off. That she gets there and she's crying out of her all of the pain that she's going through, and just releases all this energy,
Yeah.
and it just engulfs the whole town.
Because she was like a basic bitch witch, is what Agatha explained her as. Because she was so close to the stone, she must have like juiced off the stone, like just a power boost. Like,
Yeah,
and then that's why she's got chaos magic. She can create stuff, and like that's why she can create life.
because it's so strange. Because if you think of Wanda as a character in the films that we've seen her, you don't really see anything real spectacular. It's just her with like, and she manipulates things with her mind and her hands, and you can see because like the red aura goes around whatever she's kind of trying to control. Like obviously she can change people's minds as well, like visions and stuff. With Bruce Banner in Age of Ultron when he goes into Hulk mode, and it's Iron Man versus Hulk, which is obviously a cool fight scene. But yeah, it's sort of, so now we get to see her using her magic. Like she's changed. Obviously, we've seen it from the first episode to now, her changing the timelines. Well, not so much timelines, but the eras. But when she starts freaking out, because this is like the family, Modern Families episode.
Yeah,
Technically, we have Malcolm in the Middle. I think was the last one.
yeah. The
And then
Halloween
this is
back
more,
in the middle, and yeah,
yeah, and then you've got Modern Family, talking to the camera and all that kind of stuff, and you can see her like change, like things are changing. She can manipulate them and change them back. Now we knew that from this whole season that she's been able to do that, but we never saw that in the films. We never saw the raw extent of her power. It was just more like like you said, chaos magic, where she just crushes things or like manipulates things into different kind of
yeah.
shapes.
We've only ever seen like 2 minutes of mind control, and then just like not even magic, just like force pushing and just crushing people.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
this is
So
the actual magic, like changing stuff.
yeah, so that was kind of cool. And then they did show that backstory of like of her upbringing as a child and stuff like that, and obviously what happened to her parents and stuff. Um,
Yeah,
which
as
was
soon as I saw her as a kid, I was like, all right, we're back in Age of Ultron straight away. I called it instantly. I knew
yeah.
what was going to happen.
So it was really cool because people are still speculating that her father is, well, her father in the comics is Magneto, but like obviously her father in this universe is not Magneto.
That we know of yet.
That we know of. But like yeah, I mean, if they cast the same actor that was playing her father in this episode, that episode that we just watched, it wouldn't be very exciting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
know
want
what you
someone
mean.
that's a real powerhouse actor, I think.
Yeah, But they could just be some bullshit. Be like, oh, your parents didn't die. These are your real parents. La, la, la. They could just do some movie bullshit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really care if Magneto doesn't come. I'd obviously love him because I love Magneto. But I think where they're going is pretty good, especially with that like real big shock reveal we saw at the end with the White Vision.
Yeah, and before we get to that, I just want to touch on that. You know how they were in that base when they received their powers, because every subject had gotten close to the stone to that point had been killed or died, and you see a vision of her of herself as Scarlet Witch.
It
Is that what you see?
Yeah, when she sees that thing in the sky, like there's been photos and stuff on Instagram and that I've seen of people trying to enhance it, and it does look a lot like Wanda Maximoff. So I guess it's like her future self, maybe.
Because I thought at first it's a quick glimpse, and I thought some people thought it was like a Magneto kind of like reference, but the way that the figure floats in and stuff like that, and obviously the helmet as well, or her,
It's very
you know,
comic book Scarlet Witch. Like
yeah,
that's what it
very
looks like.
comic books. So it could be like saying, "Oh, this is your future. This is,
Your
you know."
true destiny or something. I don't know.
So that was pretty cool because we didn't know we know how we had an idea how they got their power. We knew how they got their powers, but we never got to see how it happened.
Yeah, yeah,
In the process of how it happened. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Can you see that?
yeah. I'm a bit disappointed we didn't see any of like Pietro exposing like exposure to the stone and that because that's how he would have got the speed. Unless she gave him the speed, I don't know how it works and that, but
Yeah,
yeah, White Vision. Let's touch on that.
yeah. So that was a bit of a surprise at the very end. That it's hard because the build up to this point, was the whole the backstory of how we got to this point. But the episode before that was like Vision finding Darcy and them trying to get back to Wanda, and they're getting caught at the crossroads. That was quite funny. Um, and then Vision's like, I think Wanda's trying to keep me away from being home.
Yeah.
Um, and then eventually he goes, "What am I doing here? I can fly." And so he just like phases through and flies off. So, and then obviously at the end of that episode as well, we see that when Wanda finds out that who and what Agnes is, you see Rambo and Pietro standing there going, "What do you say? What was his comment at the very end?
I lost.
Snooping, creeping, and creeping, or something like that. Snooping. Oh, I can't
Something
remember."
bullshit like that, yeah.
But it was funny. So obviously they're going to see a bit of a team up between those two eventually, because we don't know what that. It seems like now the way this is going, what we're touching on now is the White Vision is that he's going to be the final boss, maybe.
Well, in the comics, if I'm remembering correctly, White Vision gets kidnapped by some government agency in the comics. They dismantle him, put him back together, and he like loses his color. And that's like the way they explain it is White Vision is only ones and zeros. There's no heart. There's no memory. So he's not going to remember Wanda. He's not going to love Wanda. He's just literally like a machine now. That's what
Yeah.
White Vision is. He's just ones and zeros. So
Okay.
who knows?
Well, there's been lots of speculation, and we spoke about this before the recording, and that was people think that's Ultron within Vision's body because Ultron had that many. He just spread himself out everywhere. You know what I mean? That,
Yeah, there could have
and we
been
thought.
could have been an Ultron somewhere on a hard drive or something. I don't know.
But yeah, so like people think because of the red eyes, it's Ultron. It'd be a cool twist if it was because Ultron was a pretty cool villain, as in not a massively awesome villain, but like his concept was quite cool. I think of that. There's always been massive talks about his Ultron and Vision's discussion at the end of Age of Ultron, how he's just like they're destined to fail, and then Vision's like, I know, but he goes, but things that are so beautiful never really last. So that was kind of cool. So it was like two androids talking to each other about humanity and how flawed it is. Um, so it'd be interesting to see what that, if there was an Ultron kind of thing inside him, it'd be kind of cool because it'd be a showdown because Ultron was, yeah, like I said, pretty badass, warrior enemy. But yeah, I have no idea where this is going to be going next. Because Agnes, it seems like she's not. I don't think she had. Does she have the power to be the last bad guy? If you know what I mean.
No, I don't know. She's strong, obviously. She's like pretty ancient, but I don't think she's going to be like some biblical enemy. Like she wouldn't be as threatening as like just a mindless robotic Vision coming after you.
Yeah, well, obviously she'll be able to twist and do things differently, but to what extent? So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. So massive episode coming up. We don't know what the outcome's going to be, whether Vision's going to rock up and save her, or If Pietro and Rambo are gonna bust in there and save her too. But it's obviously the main thing is we've seen this white vision pop up with the red eyes, so we're gonna need to see something on that.
Imagine
Um,
if this is how they bring Magneto into it. Vision goes in White Vision to challenge Wanda or like to just take care of it. She can't fight him. She's just getting pummeled because she just can't bring herself to kill him again. And like then he just stops all of a sudden. You hear like metal creaking. It's Magneto's grabbed him. Imagine that.
it'd be interesting because it'd be cool to bring him in like that. It just because obviously we didn't know that we obviously thought that the vision that we were seeing in the show so far was like a reconstructed vision from those body parts.
No, but it's literally like a new one made
Yeah,
from her power.
so that's why he can't survive outside out of the hex.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen that in that episode where she bursts out with all this energy, and it shows her like just like creating this new vision. So he doesn't actually have the stone, like. But the
No.
thing is, he has enough power. He's real enough and have enough power that he can like access people's like he can switch them off and they'll be themselves again within the hex. You know what I mean? Like he's got these powers. Like
Yeah. Who
he's
knows,
not
man?
just like a hologram. You know?
Yeah. She's. Oh, couldn't tell you, man. It's just. I don't know what they're doing. It's a bit different than House of M. It's a bit different than like all the Vision stories. It's like a whole new box of frogs. So who knows, man? We might not have even seen the villain yet.
Well, they've been doing that for a while now. Like Civil War was never about Bucky. It was about Spider Man and fighting over his identity and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and obviously the Accord and stuff. But and then Civil War 2, that was Iron Man and Captain Marvel, but because Rhodey got annihilated by Thanos because he can't return. Like, and like obviously Tony Stark's dead, obviously now. So, but
Oh,
in saying that, Robert Downey Jr.'s come out and said he's never going to turn. He goes, he'll always think about the role. He won't ever turn it down if it's the right time.
yeah. Well, who knows? No one would say no. Or here's 50 mil. Come be Iron Man again. No, you wouldn't say no. He'd be straight
Well,
back.
people think he might make an appearance in, what's name, Black Widow, but
Yeah. Who knows?
when's
That
that thing
movie's
coming
never
out?
coming out. It's like Avatar 2, man.
But yeah, so I guess I don't know what to expect. Really, I think
I think the
obviously we're
show's
gonna.
good.
Oh, it's been good so far. Definitely. I'm just wondering what's going to happen if this White Vision's going to be all powerful enough to take on, you know, maybe a powered down version of Vision inside the Hex, and then you've got Wanda, who's pretty powerful at the moment, and Agnes. I don't think she'll step in, but she might. And then you got Rambo and Pietro. Like, I don't know. It's really strange. Unless he's, yeah, I'm just trying to piece together how strong this White Vision is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be as strong as Real
The
Vision,
original,
but
yeah.
like, because even in the comics, Vision doesn't have an Infinity Stone ever. It's like a solar stone. It's powered from the sun. It's like Superman.
Mm.
So maybe they're going to try to tap in to do something like that for him, or
Wait a minute, hang on. Okay, so just imagine this: we have a White Vision that has a physical body now. He enters the Hex. Somehow they defeat him, and then Vision can actually transfer his everything into that body.
yeah, I hope Good
That's
Vision comes back, but I
that's
hope
how
he
they.
stays white. I think the white looks cooler than the pink.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that's how they might bring him back though.
Yeah, hope so.
Because I was only just thought about then because if they are on the verge of bringing back Vision, they've created a body, and it may just be a mindless android, but if he can transfer his consciousness into that, then he has a body again.
Because even in
Hey,
the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War comics, the old ones, because I only read them not long ago, Vision's white in them. He's not coloured. He is the
hmm.
white one, but he's good. So who knows, man?
We'll wait and see. I guess this week's episode is going to be pretty good, so we'll wait and see. Um, let's talk about a game that has recently released a demo and is releasing, I believe, this month sometime, and that's Outriders, which is a Destiny-esque kind of game.
Yeah, it
The
definitely
grind,
gave me Destiny, Mass Effect, kind of Division.
Anthem.
Oh yeah, yeah, sick. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, we played the demo. Me, Pap, and Scads. We actually had a gameplay recording of it, like all of us together talking, cracking jokes and stuff. But the mics didn't work. There's a problem with PS capture. Like, like people online are even saying that you can't hear party chat and stuff.
It's very minuscule, unfortunately.
So yeah, we'll have a little bit in this podcast probably on YouTube in the background, but it'll just be muted.
Yeah,
But yeah, cool game. I couldn't tell you what the
very.
story was because we skipped every cutscene. But
Oh, you guys skipped every cutscene. There's a feature where you can all have, you can all vote to skip it, and I'd always be the last one to do it, and I'd be like, oh, I better press it. These guys are waiting on me. So,
mate, all I was
but
caring about was a do rag. That's it.
it's a very interesting game. Like I said, we probably won't need to talk about the story too much until the game actually comes out in its full release. But it seems like it's got a pretty cool backstory. Um, and the powers are cool, interesting, but they seem I'm not sure. Are they very similar, like all the builds?
Yeah, they all look different, but we were all just it was just damage output. That's all we were doing.
Like if you think about it in general, like Pap was telling me the other day, he actually really likes this game and he wants to keep playing. Obviously, we've seen him in our group in the group chat talking about it. Um, so I'm just trying to piece together now that what it's not like and what it's like. Obviously, Anthem had a very similar thing where you had lots of numbers blur, like jumping out at you. Most shooters like this, like in this kind of genre, have that kind of arcade feel. Um, but yeah, one thing that was a bit underwhelming was the like details on some of the environment and stuff like that. And I know that's not a massive thing, but you think we're 2021 now, we're playing on next gen consoles, we should have a bit more, you know, foliage and nicer looking environments.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was a couple years old. It looked a little bit dated, but it's obviously like super new. It's not even out yet. Hopefully, in the real game, there's a bit more environments because what we played, we did what maybe 10 missions, or maybe not 10, but
No, it
everywhere
wasn't.
looked the same.
It was very bland. It was Ashes, a remnant from the Ashes,
Yep.
like,
Oh,
and we
shit game.
played that, and so that had very similar. It's so early to tell, but these days you have to really grab an audience early, otherwise you people just won't pick it up. So, I mean, we enjoyed it enough to go, yep, we'll probably pick it up when it comes out
Yeah, I'll
and
probably buy
play
it.
it because this demo, it's an ongoing demo, and you can build up your character to a max level of 7, I think, um, and get other resources and stuff like that, and all of that transfers to the full game. So people that want to get a bit of a head start, they can. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think now. If you compared it to Destiny, it's probably not as polished off as the Destiny one when it first came out,
Nah, nowhere.
but it's early days. It's just hard to think that it'll get any better before release because it's a demo. Demos normal, like if you got alpha, then you'd be like, okay, it's an alpha. We got a bit of time before it comes out. There's more time for it to build on. When there's a demo, it's like, okay, this is a bit of the game that's pretty much nearly finished most of the time. Um, and since they said it's ongoing, it makes me think that there's not going to be too much of a change from this to the full release.
Yeah, like even just you take the custom like character creator as an example, that had like 5 choices, and that's about how detailed the rest of the game is. Like I'm looking
Yeah.
at some screenshots now. The screenshots look really good, but when you're playing it, it's just grey, broken city, ruins.
And
That's
plus,
it.
you're moving so fast and shooting, and the action you don't really pick it up. Like there's a bit of motion, there's a fair bit of motion blur and stuff like that. So, I guess you don't play the game all the time for the environment and the graphics because you play games that are enjoyable for a reason. But yeah, you do think to yourself, okay, well, hang on. There's a lot of other games out there that probably have a less of a budget, but really focus on making sure that their environments look half realistic.
Yeah, it's definitely needs to have a bit of improvement, and like even the loot we got because we were pretty well max level by the time we finished playing the demo. Like I didn't give a shit about any of my loot besides my hat, but like all the guns felt the same. Every assault rifle felt the same. LMG felt the same. Shotgun, just a shotgun. Like
Yeah.
even in Destiny, when you're early, you get a few random blues. You still like them. You still can feel the difference. This everything felt the same.
I'm wondering if like when it gets further on in the game that you can actually it's sort of like ash from the remnant from the ashes. Sorry, how you could sort of like manipulate the guns in certain ways. It would be cool if you can add your powers to the guns in a certain way. But in saying that, let's talk about the powers. So there are 4 different classes technically that you can play as, with different skill trees and stuff like that, which all have, like I said, the powers are different, but they don't seem all that different from each other. So like they have a different ability, but they feel like very similar. It's a bit hard to explain like that, really.
Yeah, so you were the blue one, Pap was the tank, and I was the fire. And
Yeah,
like we were all just hurting enemies. There was like it didn't feel like Destiny subclasses. Like Destiny feels vastly different.
yeah. like big, heavy. Like things, these stacks feel big and heavy too, but because they recharge so quickly, you're just like constantly popping them, which is it's fun because it's meant to be your sort of like a superhero in a future where there are superpowered enemies everywhere, and so like you need to use your abilities to get the upper hand. You can't just use your weapons. So I can understand both sides of it, but I keep thinking back, there's like Destiny's obviously the clear and obvious one, but even Anthem, some of the major attacks were so cool, like with the missiles or the lightning strikes and stuff like that. That were just massive area damage. Where this one, it's not as epic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's definitely an empty game. It feels a bit empty. Even the division used it feels a bit better or more finished.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the classes quickly now. So, I played this the trickster class. So it's like you use time and space abilities, which is kind of cool because I love the idea of time and space. How to stop things and transport yourself within a flash of an instant. And so, like one of my abilities was, it seems like I do like this slash, and they go to their bare skeleton. It like reverses time. I guess I didn't really read the synopsis of that kind of that ability, but or the description, I should say. But yeah, it looked cool because you do that slash, and any enemy within that slash would like slowly deteriorate to their skeleton. You could do this massive damage, and then like it'd fast forward them back to what they were. So I don't know how that works exactly.
Yeah, I had the pyromancer and like I could like put my hands in the ground and flick up this like wave of fire at people. And when they burned, it would heal me.
Yeah,
Um, but that's similar to your thing. You would shock people and they would heal you, and like
yeah,
they got different
Uh,
visuals, but all with the same result.
yeah. There's one thing that Anthem did pretty cool. You could stack abilities. So like you could use a cryo thing, so it freezes them, and someone just drops like a shitload of missiles on them, and it does like a combo attack. So obviously we were doing combo attacks. It just doesn't say chaining combos. Like I had an ability where I could run in there and press down both bumpers and bang, I'd freeze time and space within a certain amount of circle, and then you can just like launch as many bullets as you want there. And you can see them slowly moving through the air. And it was kind of cool because you can move at normal speed. Um, that's the thing, I'd go in there, press that. So what I could do, there's the three abilities I unlocked so far were the transport ability. So I could lock onto an enemy, press right bumper, and I'd teleport behind them, and like it'd do like a quick melee, so it'd like freeze them in time, and I could do bulk damage. So what I would do is, if I'd see like a group of enemies, I would transport or teleport behind one of them. Sorry, freeze that one guy, do my mass effect where I would do the freeze a whole circle around me with like a big bubble, and then I'd do the slash. So that'd be my combo attack, and then normally you guys would run in there and just unload hell on them.
Yeah, I had a similar one where I could like flick this fire under the ground to an enemy, and then he would explode. So like turn an enemy into a bomb.
Yeah,
But like the first ability I got felt the best, like because it was just damaging people, healing me, damaging people, healing me. Like, yeah, unlocking all these abilities and they're meant to mean something, but I felt like they were just shit.
yeah. So I'm just trying to think now. Pap loves looking at different builds, whereas that doesn't. I like just playing the game and seeing what works best for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like to just my build happen organically.
Yeah, and so it'd be interesting to see what happens when the full game gets released and what kind of abilities stack on top of that. Because yeah, it does feel a bit lackluster at the moment. But in saying that, we were just like rushing through and skipping this cutscene. So yeah,
But
maybe
like,
we.
it could be like a Ghost situation. We thought Ghost of Tsushima was going to be shit, and that turned out wicked. Maybe this game is real deep and awesome. We just yet to experience it when the full game comes out because we saw the skill tree. That was massive.
Yeah, there's definitely potential there. It's pretty deep, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to piece together what makes games for me these days great, and I just don't know what it is. Because there's some games I think they should hook me, and they just don't. And then there's other games I'm just like I'm pretty bleh, and all of a sudden I'm gaming like crazy on it. So
Yeah,
it's a tough
I've
one.
been back on Mortal Kombat this week. I bought the Ultimate for PS5. It's real good, man. Real good.
Yeah, I saw that. Wait, so is that Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah, Ultimate Edition. So it's all the DLC, like the aftermath, like the continuation of the
Yep,
story, and all the fighters, all the stages, all the fatalities, everything,
yep.
and upgraded visuals.
Yeah, no, that's right. Because they got Mortal Kombat 10 Ultimate, don't they? On
That's with the PlayStation Collection.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I bought like it's newer. It's the last one we played. It's got like Arnie in it, Rambo, Spawn. That's who I like mainly bought it for because I played Spawn.
yeah, of course. No,
Yeah.
and that Spawn has some pretty cool trailers too. For when they released a character back last year.
Oh, he's the best looking character in the game, but he's hard to play though. His combos are a bit of a prick, but I
Yep.
got one string down and 50-50 punching people's heads in and get my head punched in online. So
Yeah, that's fair enough.
ran into a dude that had
Um,
1,000 wins the other day. Decline.
oh, that'd been classic. No, I'm just trying to think back now. There's some cool fighting games. I loved the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 games. They were cool. Or Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. That's what it was. That was like a really, really cool fighting game. Heaps of cool combos and stuff like that. But that was the last Naruto fighting game other than Naruto to Boruto Striker, which was a bit wasn't like a normal fighting game. But anyways, they've actually released a Demon Slayer fighting game,
Really?
and it's built up from the same kind of engine and gameplay as the Naruto Storm games, and so everyone's like, this is the predecessor to the Storm games, which everyone loves the combat in the combos. So people like heaps came for the Demon Slayer game, which I watched some gameplay. Apparently, it looks pretty cool. So not saying I'm going to get it because I love the Naruto universe. That's why I bought it to play the story and do the cool fight scenes. Saying that, I do love Demon Slayer, so that could be a game I touch on as well.
Yeah, my first video game ever that I owned was Tekken 3. So my video game career started with Tekken, so a fighting game. I've
Yep.
never really gone back to Tekken because I feel like they've gone to shit. The
Yeah.
later years, just, yeah.
Same as Soul Calibur. Wasn't a big fan of Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur 4 was where I stopped playing, where it had Starkiller and Yoda.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, there are some other games that you've been playing. You played a bit of Control. You finished that off.
Yeah, finished God of War again.
Which I've not touched. I haven't touched Control yet. I've got it sitting there in my library. But I'm just trying to think. There's some other cool games. There's another good game. Oh yeah, it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out on PlayStation 5 this month.
Yeah, I was just about to say it comes out tomorrow free on.
Yeah,
It's the
the
PS4
PlayStation.
version, but I'm
Yeah,
going to play the free, but I'm not going to buy it.
that's the PlayStation. Like the games for the month are always. There's always one banger in there, eh?
Oh, dude, it makes Xbox look like the biggest scumbag pieces of shit scabs I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Xbox will give you like $3 worth of value. PlayStation Plus is like tripling your console's value each week.
yeah, 100%. I started noticing that because Games of Gold was not too bad, but it wasn't
Yeah,
great.
3 years ago.
But the thing is, every time like I would look at some games and I was like, no, I don't need any of those games this month. But with PlayStation, I'm like, I need to download this because there's so many good games like Creed 4. I haven't even touched yet, and that came out in January, I think.
Yeah,
So
I add everything to my collection on PlayStation because like obviously I don't have I can't play every game straight away.
yeah,
But like I'm just banking all these wicked games for when there's a dip in nothing to play.
yeah,
And like on Games with Gold, I would just let months and months go by where I wouldn't even look at the menu because I didn't give a
yeah.
shit because they were all crap.
No, I agree. It's a shame, really.
Well,
But
I guess Devil's Advocate, they've got Game Pass.
yeah. It's a tough one. I mean, the PlayStation Collection's pretty top tier, but that's only just been released this year, or with the PlayStation 5. So if they could add games over the next 3 to 4 years of like top tier games, chucked into that collection, like that'd be freaking sick.
Yeah, the PlayStation Plus collection, it's like 20 games, but it's so good. PlayStation 5 is not cheap. There would be people out there that could buy that, but they wouldn't have been able to afford a game. It doesn't matter. You get the collection, you got 20 wicked games that would take you years to finish.
That's what I was saying to people that were buying the PlayStation. They're like, "Oh, I've got the digital edition. I'm not sure what to buy." I said, "Just go to the PlayStation Collection, and if you haven't played those games, there's some really good ones in there." Like I
Dude,
said, God of War.
God of War,
Mate,
Bloodborne, there you go.
there's two. Yeah,
That's
obviously,
it.
Bloodborne's a very selective game for people because that's a bit tougher. But you still got Until Dawn, which is an amazing horror game, I think. And then you've also you got Horizon on there, I believe.
Uncharted
You've
4,
got Uncharted 4, and then
Fallout
you've
4.
got Fallout 4. You've got Mortal Kombat on there as well.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
there's heaps.
yeah, and so there's games worth they're playing on there. So yeah, but we've defended that to the end of the day, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. But anyways, I think we just give a bit of a heads up of what we got over the next couple of weeks, which we spoke about prior to this recording. We're going to do now eventually. I should say we're going to do the Clone Wars talk, which I've been anticipating and so keen to do because I absolutely loved watching the Star Wars animated series of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, you're going to have to
Um,
spearhead that conversation because you've watched it a bit more recently than I have. So,
yeah, I'm watching Rebels at the moment,
yeah.
so and that's going pretty well. But I have a whole new outlook now on Star Wars. As in, I always had a positive and great outlook on the original 6 films. As in, I don't really
Yeah,
count
I've done a
them.
180 on the sequels, man. They can fuck right off.
um, And yeah, so I think I really want to dive in depth to that for all our Star Wars fans out there and nerds that love Star Wars, like give our ideas and our thoughts on what could have been differently, what the future could have shown for that, and obviously the future of Star Wars in general, which we spoke about already. And speaking of Star Wars, quickly, is that Star Wars Republic Commando is coming out,
Yeah, I'd be
re-released.
curious to have a go at that.
That's coming to like new next gen consoles. Not saying it's been updated, but it's up for grabs. I think I'm not sure if you have to buy it or not.
I'm pretty sure you're going to buy it.
Pricks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're doing this to just hype people for the Bad Batch because it's pretty well the Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad Batch is in May.
Yeah, somewhere towards the middle
May the
of the year.
4th. Yeah, May
Oh,
the
yeah, May
4th
the
be with
4th.
you.
But yeah, because Republic Commando, it's like about the squad, the soldiers, and that's what Bad Batch is going to be about. So I think they're just trying to like curveball us into playing some more games.
Yeah, 100%. But anyways, I think that's it from us. Any last words, Nick?
Nah, man, see it, deuces.
Take care, guys.